Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulaling. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash. Unus English School. For quality and affordable education, look no further. Unus English School has what you've been looking for. Unus English School is a leading institution in the Gambia with nursery, lower basic, upper basic and senior secondary education with magnificent teaching and learning facilities. Unus English School has highly qualified and experienced teaching staff preparing students for university and beyond. Unus English School is an institution with distinct academic excellence, and the school operates not only in the usual 5 days a week but 6 days a week, Mondays to Saturdays, breaking a remarkable record on credit hour coverage for all our students. Contact Unus English School today to register your children on 77814443 or 7070091 or still on 9249426. Better still, you can email unusenglish@yahoo.com. At Unus English School, excellence is a priority without compromise.
When I came to power in 2017, my main focus and thinking and direction was to develop this country. Infrastructure was lacking behind. That's why it was our main focus.
What we have completed within these 4 years is almost equivalent to what has been done almost in this past 50 years or so.
Adama Barrow has to his credit a number of impressive bridges and roads infrastructure projects which were initiated and completed in record time as part of efforts to fulfill campaign promises to shape and modernize Gambia's infrastructure outline. By the end of 2020, President Barrow's government achieved 100% completion of the primary road network along the north and south banks of the country as set out in the National Development Plan, NDP, which is 818 kilometers, but also covering all the way to Fatoto, making a total of 168 kilometers. Along the newly constructed Basse to Fatoto Road, 2 bridges, Chamoy and Suduo, 25 meters and 32 meters long respectively, have been completed as of July 2021. In Basse, a 250 meters long bridge, and in Fatoto, a 170 meters long bridge have been completed by July. Since independence, many of these rural communities were completely cut off from the rest of the Gambia. But thanks to the visionary leadership of His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, rural communities today are not only part of the greater city-state concept, life and rural economy have also seen a turnaround for the better. From rural to suburban areas of the greater Banjul area, as well as the capital Banjul, more road projects are being initiated to boost commerce, ease communication, and lift people out of poverty. Surely and truly, President Adama Barrow has kept his promises to the Gambian people. For continuity of massive development projects, vote President Adama Barrow and the NPP-led coalition for a brighter future.
South Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and presence in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called Taft Twins. The Taft Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. Taft Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
It's a warm reception here in our studio Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Sarah Kamara. In the headlines tonight, President Barrow hits the campaign trail with glad tidings for Gambians. EU deploys 16 long-term observers ahead of December polls. NPP give 19 tractors to Kafolo communities to enhance yield. Social Security partners validate 2022-2026 strategic plan. And on the international scene, Biden to visit ports to bid to resolve U.S. shipping crisis. China struggles to contain Delta variants of COVID-19. In Philippines, COVID-19 curbs puts unemployment rate at 8.9%.
The country's Independent Electoral Commission (IEC) has announced for the attention of the public that it will be replacing lost, stolen or damaged voting cards between 15 to 21st November 2020 at its IEC regional offices in Banjul, Kanifing, Brikama, Kerewan, Mansakonko, Janjambure and Basse. The IEC hereby informs the general public that replacement of lost, stolen or damaged voting cards will be conducted from the 15th to the 21st November 2021 at the IEC regional offices in Banjul, Kanifing, Brikama, Kerewan, Mansakonko, Janjambure and Basse. A replacement of voting cards, it says, will attract a fee of $100, noting that the cards to be replaced are those issued in the recently concluded general registration of voters card held from the 29 May to the 11 July 2021. No new voters card will be issued during this exercise, a signed statement from the IEC chairman Aliu Mumar Jai emphasized, and it ends. The death of a close relative of the Lower Badibo legislator has apparently affected the turnout for President Barrow's Kerewan meeting on Wednesday, Dado Cham reports.
The administrative capital of the North Bank region was yesterday thrown into a state of somberness as news of the shocking demise of legislator Alhaji Jawara's relative. The news came at a time when President Adama Barrow was already built to address supporters and well-wishers in Kerewan as he continues with his official electioneering. The development has apparently saddened the Gambian leader, and he has already sent a condolence message to the bereaved family. President Barrow said he wanted to cancel the Kerewan meeting as a result of the doleful event. But after receiving information that a lot of people had congregated for the meeting, he was left with no other option but to go ahead with it.
Ndere ñing manke foloti pour nga meeting no ke Kerewan. Man de li so jelben yon pour ma def meeting bi Kerewan. Bari bimbe meeting no men ke kan Kerewan anin na meeting dol fatatal. Way tay meeting bu may def bi Kerewan fi ak meeting ma fi dan def utene. Way mbe meeting no men ke kan bi samole sorda sate o kono. Muy melni meeting bu may def fi tay tiis mo am ci bir dekk bi. Andun dunya kuwo ku nana da fakira sayati amanta ko kuwol danta won. Mu ne tay mbiri aduna nak su demé be tiis bokati rek muy melni mbiri fofu lañuy am. Ndefa nga fonna mole no pour nga mitino nyimbayi wayre samole keda jang andu ni samo keda dame malla fi tantangol ning chole ke je kono wayre mol be ni torole kono wala ken lafto no pour kamitino cancer man mi dama hon suma gayne mitini fi bi nañ ko fomo ñu toal ko parce que miti ak dejde fuma yóbbi tëgg sabar fuuf mbilip ak tàccoo feccoo loolu waru fa waaye parce que nit ñëpp a ngi tiis jamono bi waaye rintel bee sonta ñin na ko mbee be faalale parce que ñun ñëpp gom nañ yàlla ne lu mu yàgga yàgga nañ dellu andu saya mu sunooleti te dëj nag moom tiis la hani alquran o fa waya fole sana masibolom mu ne tere alquran sa wane ne dee moom musiba la bari mool ko moɗol meta janne kabiri somanda bi jang nga foto nan jan ni molle diam nga sama fanan konto waaye dafa am ñu wax ne depuis suba ni ñaa ngi bàyyi seen soxla ñuy toog fii waaye nañ agsi fii tamit jàmmalante ni ba pare ñu nuy jaale gay si dëj bi waaye na député kenn doo men bi jang ala jawara a fango doomaale banta parce que suñu député bu baax bu fi nekk de honorable ala jawara moom rek a moo gaañ oto wo muntel be suno balatintenin na délégation ni na man sakunda bon de loolu tiis bu mag la pour man maag ñu ma àndal ak suma nguur gi yëpp mbe ala jawara konton na sango la ala jawara ñu ngi lay jaale tiis buñ bokka mbe jawara kundankool be konton na sango la waa jawara kunda ñu ngi leen di jaale tiis buñ bokka mbe lowa badi bu konton na sango la waa lowa badi bu ñu ngi leen di jaale tiis buñ bokka mbe North Bank konton na sango la waa North Bank ñu ngi leen di jaale tiis buñ bokka banko sefo ni kumandango mbe konton na sango la suufi réew mi ak commandant commissioner bi ñu ngi leen di jaale tiis buñ bokka bari mbe banko be konton na sango la waaye ñu ngi jaale réew mi yëpp tiis buñ bokka bari hani sa ni mol si
He has since extended condolences to the Jawara family and the constituency of Lower Badibu. Dara Cham for Star TV News.
Amnesty International on Wednesday held a presser at the Gambia Press Union in Barrow. The briefing was meant to call on politicians to spread this gospel of human rights in their political campaigns. Modu El Baji attended the ceremony.
Amnesty International is a global movement of more than 10 million people in over 150 countries and territories who campaign to end abuses of human rights. Amnesty International is currently in the Gambia to send a message of peace to politicians. During her deliberation, Michael Akin, West African researcher, said they have met political parties to present Human Rights Manifesto, which was co-signed by various civil service organizations, including the Gambia Press Union, CSOs on Election, the Gambia Bar Association, Think Young Women, and Women in Liberation and Leadership.
This manifesto was co-signed by various civil society in Gambia, including the GPU represented here by Mr. Diouf and the Victim Center represented by Mr. Jallo. In total, 11 organizations co-signed the Human Rights Manifesto. Other organizations include ANICET, CSO Coalition on Election, FLAG, the Bar Association, IHRDA, Think Young Women, Women in Liberation and Leadership, and the Gender Platform.
The Senior Program Director of the Gambia Press Union, Modu Diouf, stressed the need for politicians to respect and promote freedom of expression as stated on Article 19 of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights.
We are encouraging all political parties and candidates to sign onto this Human Rights Manifesto that will be presented to them. We want them to respect, protect, and promote and fulfill freedom of expression. This is because every Gambian or everyone in the Gambia has the right to hold opinions, to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media. The right to freedom of expression is guaranteed under Section 25 of the Gambian Constitution, Article 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which was ratified by the Gambia in 1983, and Article 19 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, acceded to by the Gambia in 1979.
The National Coordinator, Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations, Adama Jallo, also urged politicians to act in accordance with the TRRC recommendations in ensuring that justice is served to the victims of human rights violations, as well as to end impunity in the country.
So what we are now calling on the political parties, whoever wins the election, we would definitely want them to recognize, and that is why we are calling on all political parties and candidates to support and ensure that the TRRC recommendations linked with prosecution, that are linked to prosecutions and fighting impunity are effectively implemented. Number two, we want all political parties to ensure members of Jammeh's regime who are found guilty of grave crimes are immediately removed from the security apparatus. 3, we would urge all the political parties to ensure and respect, to repeal all the provisions of the Constitution preventing the pursuit of justice and effective remedies. And 4th, repeal the Indemnity Act of 2001.
Jallo said the Amnesty International will continue to put pressure on politicians in order for them to adhere to the Amnesty International's manifesto. Moreover, the Amnesty International has played a very crucial role in supporting the victims of human rights violations in many African countries. This includes victims of Yaya Jammeh's 22-year rule in the Gambia. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
Independent presidential candidate Esam Baifal on Wednesday at his residence in Bijilo launched his manifesto and reiterated the reason why he is running for president. More in this report.
After being the only nominated independent presidential candidate in the 2021 election by the Independent Electoral Commission, Mr. Fall noted that for positive transformation to be realized in the country, there is a need for a competent head of state. Mr. Fall also noted that the cost of living in the country is very expensive. As a result of that, many people continue to live in difficulties. Therefore, the country needs to do something positive to improve the situation and not let it continue as if it's something normal.
I am running for president for our beloved Gambia because our country is standing at a crossroads and regressing, while our people continue to suffer the indignities of poverty. The cost of living is skyrocketing out of reach of many of our citizens, including the working poor. And there are no effective mechanisms in place to prevent unreasonable price hikes. The ordinary people are at the mercy of predatory businesses whose primary interest is to make profits, while the government continues to impose punitive taxes that further impoverish our people. The sick and vulnerable are uncared for. Educational institutions are starved of resources. Frontline workers are paid unlivable wages. The youths are unemployed, and I dare say even unemployable, and women and girls continue to be subjected to outdated cultural.
He further mentioned that the Gambia gross domestic product could be far better than that of Senegal if only the government works harder. The presidency of Esam Baifal, according to him, will end the corruption in the country because he will take out the unemployment of youths and reduce the prices of basic commodities to make feeding easy for all.
What do we commit to? We promise that we would double GDP per capita in 10 years. We can do it. You know what? Senegal is already doubling our GDP. Ours at 2020 is $787 per capita. Senegal is $1,487. If we perform as well as Senegal, we can double our GDP.
For Star TV News, Awasane.
Aliou Bun Abi Talib Islamic Institute hosted a colorful graduation ceremony for 36 students following successful completion of their courses for study in the school. The event was held in Sukuta Nema to acknowledge the achievements of the students. Khadija Rodanso has more.
The graduation was the latest after the establishment of the school in 1992 to 1993. The principal of the school, Mr. Ibrahim Sanyang, expressed hope that the graduated students will positively contribute to brightening the future of the country, as most of them are expected to immensely contribute in national development. He further spoke about the achievement of the school since its inception. Alhaji Mambure, who was a graduate, highlighted the importance of education, saying that it is essential to acquire primary education as it plays a vital role in one's life. Mr. Usman Tal, a teacher, expressed his delight and congratulated the graduating students for their commitment throughout their studies. He also revealed that the school produces many successful students that are currently serving as nurses, whilst others are pursuing higher education in Saudi Arabia. Our Marong head girl of the school expressed profound gratitude for successfully completing her studies. She further advised her peers not to limit themselves in pursuit of life's opportunities. Meanwhile, students of the school sang an Arabic song on Islamic moral values. At the end of the event, certificates were awarded to the graduating students.
Those were the local stories. We'll be back with the international news after this break.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Geja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulaling. We are also producers of Geja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
Welcome back after the commercial break. If you are just tuning in, this is Star TV News from our studios here in Churchilltown. And now to news outside the Gambia. Despite having some of Europe's most polluted air, Milan has its sights set on becoming a leader of the sustainable city movement. The city is now working towards the goal of planting 3 million trees by the end of the decade and incorporating nature and sustainability into every urban project. Al Jazeera's Adam reports from Milan, Italy.
Rising into the sky, Milan's vertical forest apartment complex has become a symbol of the global sustainable city movement. Draped in vegetation, the towering gardens are equivalent to a forest covering 3 hectares. Home to 800 trees and 15,000 plants, the building absorbs a net total of 11 tons of carbon dioxide a year. The architect behind the project says much more is to be done to truly make Milan and other cities sustainable.
One of the main issues now is to make the construction process more sustainable, because this is a building with a structure which is quite traditional. And we are now working to the project of a new high-rise green building with all the structure in wood and timbers. And that will be an amazing way to reduce, in terms of footprint, also the production of CO2 during the construction site process.
This green refuge provides views of Greater Milan's larger problem, smog. Greenhouse gases are trapped in a massive plain at the base of the Alps. The pandemic has accelerated Milan's push for sustainability. Coming out of the lockdown, city planners worried people would choose cars over crowded public transport, so they expanded the network of bike lanes. There's a sprint, too, to create more green spaces.
Of course, spaces like this one do more than just sustain the environment. They sustain communities, and urban planners say it's necessary to have more spaces like this one so people living in cities feel they have some access to nature.
Resilience expert Piero Pellizzaro champions these projects, but he says it's clear what problem Milan must tackle.
Think, 30 years ago, we got 80 cars every 100 inhabitants. Now we dropped to 46. So it's meaning that we are reducing the number of cars and increasing the space for tree and for green infrastructure. But it's not enough. We need more because climate change is impacting the city, like heat waves and flash flooding.
A vision to redefine Milan for those who call it home and those looking for sustainable models to follow. Adam Rainey, Al Jazeera, Milan.
The tech industry in the Republic of Ireland is booming. The country is rapidly becoming a hub for data centers, which process and store everything we do online. But it is having an unintended negative effect on the effects tackle climate change. But they use enormous amounts of energy, and environmentalists are sounding the alarm. Al Jazeera's Baka reports from Dublin.
On the outskirts of the Irish capital, tech giant Microsoft's laying the foundations of a vast new data centre, a short walk away from where Google has one of its colossal hubs. They're so big they can use as much electricity as a small city and need around 500,000 litres of water a day to cool their systems. We need them to support the internet and store content, and for years the Irish government's welcomed the tech giants with open arms and tempting low tax rates. But there are deepening concerns that within a few years a third of Ireland's electricity will be used to power a rapidly growing network of centres. Some experts say the figure could be even higher, with worries about the nation's energy security.
I think that the worry is if it's a very cold winter, for example, and there's a big demand on the grid for heating and so on, yeah, there could be blackouts.
Ireland's racing to produce 70% of its electricity from renewables, mainly wind, by 2030. But in the short term, data centres will rely on fossil fuels, mostly natural gas, to keep running. Opposition MPs want a freeze on all new centres until their impact's fully known.
Certainly we can't do without email and we can't do without our mobile phones. I'm not saying that I'm not a Luddite and I'm not dissing all these things, but we have too many of them already and we've planned for too many more.
The Irish capital is Europe's largest data handling hub. A quarter of the continent's data comes through here. But there is, of course, a cost, an environmental cost, for everything that we do online. The internet accounts for roughly 4% of global greenhouse gas emissions. That's the same as the entire world's air traffic, a figure that's expected to double within 5 years. None of the tech giants we approached agreed to be interviewed, but several, including Google and IBM, confirmed they're committing to easing strain on the national grid. In the short term, next-generation centres such as this one under construction will also generate their own electricity using an on-site gas-powered energy plant. This site near Dublin's being built to house servers from Chinese social media giant TikTok.
The global growth of data is enormous. It has to be processed securely and in large data centres like these, and therefore they are essential infrastructure. The world needs to be able to process this data. They are needed. The issue is how do you do it in the least damaging and most sustainable way possible.
There are future plans to power centres using wind and other sustainable means, with any surplus energy adding to the national grid. But with an average of 3 internet-connected devices for every human on the planet, ecologists say the transition needs to have happened yesterday. Niamh Barker, Al Jazeera, Dublin.
In Burundi, motorists are lining up for Get Fuel and traders cannot buy goods because of a shortage in foreign currency, economists say. That Western sanctions imposed on the country plus the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic are making life difficult for its residents. The EU slapped asset freezes on the country after former President Pierre Nkurunziza's decision to run for a controversial third term in office in 2015. Al Jazeera's Carten Soy reports from Bujumbura, Burundi.
This has become a familiar sight on the streets of Bujumbura. Motorists spend much of their time queuing for fuel. Habimana Marie says it's taken her 4 hours to get her tank filled.
It's a big problem because we're often late for work. It completely disrupts our days.
Some economists say the country is running low on foreign currency that's needed for imports like fuel and medicines.
Many Burundians say they are frustrated. This has been going on for weeks now, but it's not the first time they're experiencing a shortage of fuel. Neither is it the first time that the government is facing a shortage of foreign currency. Some tell us it all goes back to 2015 when there was a political crisis.
Former President Pierre Nkurunziza's decision to run for a controversial third term 6 years ago sparked political unrest. More than 1,000 people were killed and many displaced. donors like the European Union and the US withdrew government funding, and sanctions they imposed on the country are yet to be lifted. The pandemic and the closure of foreign exchange bureaus by the central bank in 2020 made the situation worse.
The cost of the COVID-19 test. To cross the border, you have to be tested for 30 USD. To mean that for a small trader, it's too much. The movement of traders between DRC and Burundi remains slow, despite the border has been reopened. It represents a big amount of money in terms of foreign currency when those small traders are crossing daily.
Hori Chubonye Donacio imports goods from Asia, Europe, and neighboring countries. He says he's struggling to stay afloat.
There's no money in circulation. We need to import things from Asia and other neighbouring countries. To buy those goods, you have to have foreign currency. If we don't, that means there's a big problem.
He tells us he hopes sanctions will soon be lifted and border crossings fully reopened, because without that, the economy can't start growing again. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, Bujumbura.
And before we end this edition of the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. IEC announces replacement of lost, stolen or damaged voting cards. Lower body Bonam's relative's death affects Barrow's Caravan rally. Amnesty International urges presidential aspirants to commemorate on human rights. Esa Fall launches manifesto. Aliu Bun Abi Talib Islamic Institute holds 5th graduation ceremony. On the international scene, Milan going green. Projects on the way to help reduce CO2 emissions. Ireland tech industry boom, warnings over climate change effects. Continuing US-EU sanctions on Burundi add to economic woes. Well, that's all for this edition of the news. Thank you very much for watching. Do join us tomorrow for more news. Till then, have a very good night.